But what we want to talk to you about now is have a handout. There are 3 online auction platforms. And the 3 of us have each used different ones. So I'm going to go first because I probably had the least massive of the online auctions. So we're going to try to show you what we did. That's going to cover my account. Okay. So, why is it not showing? Sarah? Sarah, I had someone to pick up lunch, so, there went my tech support. We're back to Sarah. I need the display setting to not mirror anymore. So, what Kelly McPherson said is so true. If you're in the right place at the right time to make those partnerships, that's so important. And the Friends of the Brentwood Library had been pretty good partners with the Historic Commission. We had talked to them a lot about, they have a historic room here in the library, and we had had ongoing conversations with them. We invited them to sell their books at our book sales around Christmas time. And so we had really developed a good partnership with them. And then they do a lot of preservation, particularly of homes and cemeteries in the area. There was a particular home that was about to be torn down or renovated, and we have a local artist who does like painting out in the wild. What is that called? Okay, awesome. And she was sitting at a very busy road, and she was painting this house before it was renovated. And she included pieces of the fence and the wood that was peeling off the fence and trees that were on the property and grass and all the things. And she really wanted to display that when it was finished here at the library. And so she wanted to sell note cards of the painting, the old print house, and wanted to split the proceeds between the Historic Commission and the library. We're like, yes, please. So we displayed it in the lobby. We had a little reception, like an art opening for her. And she was so pleased that she decided to have 3 large prints of this painting, high quality art prints done. There are noises. Art prints done that then we could auction off because the Friends had done such a good job of welcoming her. She got the Historic Commission out. She said, I want you all to auction these 3 prints because you've been so welcoming and gracious. And so we had to very quickly put together an online auction of only really 4 items, right? 3 prints. And then we did kind of a buy it now with the note cards. So you could buy the note cards, as many as we had. And we wanted that to be totally free. We didn't want to have to pay any fees. So we used the column on the first column, which is 32 auctions. And so we tried to give you a breakdown of like what it cost and what the parameters were. 32 auctions is really fun because they have kind of a cafeteria list that you can say, I only want extra photos. I only want auction prices that are this many items. I want to have extra publicity. And so it's like $10 here, $20 there. We did the absolute totally free version. And we had people, because we also didn't want to pay the credit card fees, because if you know anything about me, I do not want to leave any money on the table, ever. And so we didn't want to do any credit card fees, so we had everybody, when they picked up, they paid by cash or check. So that meant that we cut 32 auctions out of every possible avenue that they had to make any money. They didn't have anything on the sales price, they didn't have anything on the auction itself, nothing. So if you have a small number of items, and you're willing to do that kind of, did you finish? Okay.
Do the clicky for the left and right. Just use your,
Yeah, but I want to go to the website.
you didn't tell me what you wanted. So, we gotta communicate better. So, okay.
Okay, she's been in 5 years.
I don't know, so what do you?
How can she display this screen? Okay, so, that was just a really easy way for us, super cheap, super inexpensive if you're doing a small number of items. And many of your communities can't support 100 items. They can't support items that are $6,000. They're not gonna be able to support the ski trip to Aspen 5-day adventure, right? So tailoring what auction place you use to the number of items you have, how many pictures you need, what all that you need that to do is great. So that's my 32 auctions. So now Kelly uses a totally different one.
Is it on?
I'm like, we're fine for the little magic trick. After minimal searching, friends of the library selected biddingowl.com to do our auctions. There is no upfront cost in any way. It's very similar to what she described, where you can adjust the amounts of what's available for the auction. I would say that their profit comes from a percentage of the final bid on items. But we've never held, I think we've done 3 complete auctions. We would do one each year at Christmas time. The most amount that we've had to pay to Bidding Owl was under $200. And so everything else was profit above that. And we did have the option for credit cards payment, but you could actually control it where they would pay the fee that we would have been charged, and you just tell them up front that your bidding amount is this much, but it's gonna add on $4.32 to cover the credit card fee. So there's ways to do that if you'd like to do that. The few hoops that we had, let me look at this thing, because we did do that. A few of the cons, what I put at the bottom, careful with your settings to control the bidder pool. With Bidding Owl, you actually can pull up the website, and initially you can see every auction that they're hosting. And you can make bids. You can go to any auction you want. You can, though, control that even if people can see the items, they can't bid unless they're local. Like, you can put controls in there. I think we had learned our lesson from some sweet woman in Texas that wanted a $5 item that we were gonna have to pay $20 just to send it to her, and then she lost our number, we lost hers, and we just sold it to somebody else. So, that's the thing. One of the things that she didn't talk about as far as the hosting of the auction itself, going to get, oh, she's pulling up, there it is. This was our auction that we had.
This is Bidding Owl.
She actually tapped into the thing that we probably, with my alterations part, we started to get so impressed with the things that we could collect to put on bid for the auction that we actually kind of outpriced our community. And we had too many items that the first bid to be reasonable would be like $50 on something, and instead of it being $5 and then letting it grow. That was the thing where we kind of have learned our lesson. If we return to the auction, what we will do is maybe have it where it's not high dollar opportunities, but really good bargains. That's what we like. Some of the things we ran into with people that donate, sometimes we had this wonderful sweet woman who had this gorgeous knitted Afghan blanket that she had made. That if you were at a uppity store in Maine somewhere, you would probably pay $200 or $300 for, and she wanted the bidding price to start at that point, and she got to take that blanket back home. So, you know, that's the thing where you have to be careful and communicate with your donors and let them understand that people who bid on auctions want a bargain. So make sure they don't get their feelings hurt when something that would have been valued at $50 or $100 goes for $10. So that's something to make sure you're communicating with your community about. The other thing that I thought of, with what I liked about this is if you click on any one item, let's see, find a good example. Let's see. Up here. Well, go. I'm just going to click on one. This is a good example. All right, so we had a local furniture store that donated these two gorgeous lamps. And you have to also take the photos yourself. You have to have somebody that's techie enough that can load the information in. But with Bidding Owl, you could put up to 3 photos in addition. So I could actually have the eye-catching photo, and then I could actually go to a couple of other views for somebody that wants to really see more information about the item. So if you're wanting people to bid exclusively from looking at the photos online, you have to have somebody that's going to take the right amount of time to take really good photos of the product. And we would put a lot of rulers. You can see the yardstick in there, so that way they can have something visual and know the dimensions of it. So you have to have some forethought about that when you're putting the information out there. I think that's kind of it. I guess I'm going to go ahead to the next person. If you have any other questions, I'm here all day. But we have enjoyed the process. It initially started for us in 2020 when nobody could do anything and everybody was inside. This is where that initiated for us. And the first year that we did it, we got almost $3,000 in profit. It was wonderful. And then we've decided to hold off for a year because it's kind of become bigger than what we can, bigger than our scope. So we're gonna have to revisit our structure, but I highly encourage you to do this. Yes, ma'am.
How did you initially let people know you were doing this online auction? How did you,
Every free advertising that we could do. We put signs up at the library. The library dedicated a computer that it's one of several card catalog computers, and they actually let us have a computer that had the auction available, so patrons could come up, and then we would talk to them about the auction, and then they'd just walk over to the computer and they could scroll through all of the items, and then if they needed help with setting up their email, making a bid, the library staff was available to do that. Of course, Facebook, we did Facebook ads, we did newspaper ads. At other fundraisers, at the same time, we had a cocoa stand for some Christmas events, and so we had a sign there so people came. So just as much word of mouth as we could do, and then posters and flyers in the community to get the word out. And initially, that was the strongest way to advertise for us without really having to spend a lot. And Bidding Owl itself, because once people become familiar with that, they can pull a Bidding Owl and anybody can look up that auction. So you could probably do more advertising than we did, but initially that was just our advertising at the library, at other events. We started promoting it. We did our auction for a 2-week term the first 2 weeks of December. And then people had the weekend after that second week to come and pick up their items. And we advertised starting at the beginning of November and let people know the items that we had available. So just getting the word out is the most challenging part, other than actually taking the photos and setting up the items themselves. So that was kind of our experience. So again, I completely support it, but we're going to revisit it, take a year off and come back around to it. Oh, wait. One thing I will tell you, I can't do it. I'm sorry, I'm not. One of the most successful auction items that we had, there was a teacher named Jim Milan, who everyone in the community had him as their English teacher just about. They all adored this man and loved him. And he had passed away the year before, and his family donated his typewriter because he was one of those teachers that never progressed to the computer. He just hated it, didn't like it, and that typewriter sat on his desk in his classroom, and every kid that had ever had him as a teacher, they knew that typewriter. It went up for bid, and if you had put that at a yard sale, it wouldn't have sold, or maybe $10, $20. it went to over $500 for us. And it was because the people who were bidding got into a fight. And let me tell you how exciting that is. It's like 15 minutes of your auction when you have those few items that people really want and you're watching them do bids. That is the most thrilling experience of all of it. And that finally somebody took their hat and said, okay, you can have the typewriter, and it cut off. And so finding an item that will draw people because of its meaning will be a really good trick to kind of get the attention of your auction. And that was kind of another thing, is we kind of didn't have that this last year. We didn't have a draw for something that would pull people in. So that's another really good trick that can help.
Okay, now that we've fixed the technical difficulties, see how much simpler we auctioned 3 items. And, you know, we were able to put a buy now price, which I think is so important. I would be so delighted with the price, you know. All right, so D has got a much bigger auction coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah. We're living it, so I think Kathy might have heard me grumble about the work that we have to put into it, and then asked me to be part of this. But we chose ClickBid, and that was actually after talking to several people in the community who had done auctions and what their experiences were. But the downside of ClickBid is that you're going to pay $795 when you get a package, and it's good for a whole year. So if we wanted to hold an auction every month, we could on ClickBid. So we haven't quite decided we'll see how this one goes. We haven't quite decided how we're going to handle that. But one of the things that, as we were looking at it, one of the positives is that this one gets to tell you your story. So right now we are turning this year 50 years old, our friends group. And what we did as part of the whole year, basically we're celebrating for a whole year. We started with our history back in April, and that's the actual day that we incorporated. We started with a historical celebration. Then we did an event, Tent on the Lawn event for the public, and we also, in August, did a Thank Teachers event. And we brought the teachers in, and it was like Christmas. We had school supplies from the teacher's point of view. We just had a blast with that, we really did. And this is our culminating experience with the celebration, which will be on the 25th of October at Pellissippi State Community College in Friendsville. And the college has a culinary program, so they're doing all the food, they're doing all of the mocktails, they're doing everything, but we're handling the auction. So the auction will open October 17th. And I was thinking, I sure didn't sleep well last night, and then I realized, you're supposed to limit your screen time. Well, I was up last night making sure all the donors were in, because we have 135 items. And I got an email yesterday from somebody else that said, can I donate something too? I'm like, sure, why not? I'll take it. And Diane can tell you, it looks like a little garage sale in the back there, because we put together the baskets, and we have enough alcohol in the basement of the library right now. We have tequila baskets, we have vodka baskets, we have wine baskets. I'm not saying much about 100 people, but we have a lot of donations. Yeah, so we also will have a wine wall, so that's one of the options. That there's where you can donate. So the vendors in the community just went right on and donated stuff. And somebody mentioned earlier, I think it was Kelly, tap into the talents. The Pepper Pot basket, we had our past president is a basket weaver. And so he donated several items. Gourd birdhouses, I mean, you name it, we've got it. There's the wine wall is an option to pull a cork. You can buy an option to get a cork, and it's associated with a bottle of wine. It could be a $30 bottle of wine, it could be a $100 bottle of wine. So we have that. we have, one of the things in there is cast a vote, you're gonna see it. So for $5, you can cast a vote, and we decided to use the library's programs. So what's your favorite program? Cast your vote for $5, so it's part of the fundraiser. And the first thing that was up there is the $19.74 for the year we started, and we've had that donation going on for a while. And the money that we're working for on this is, oh, stop for that Santa. See, click on the picture of the Santa. His jacket is library books. It's so click on it. Oh, it doesn't want to.
It may not be the auction, it's something this way, let's see.
No, that's just, so that's Dewey from the Dewey Justice. And a gentleman just sent us a message saying, I make Santas, can I make 2 for your auction? Oh, yes, thank you, please. So, we put it out there, like she said, and Blitz, the community, we have, sold 160 of 188 tickets, so if anybody, still wants to go. And we have, this stuff here is from the Townsend Art Guild. So we had somebody there, a connection, and all the folks just donated an item from the Art Guild. So, we have books, of course, tons of books. These books down here coming up are books that we publish. So we help local authors, and we do self-published books. So it's a wealth of things in a lot of different directions, from stuff that's $20 to stuff that's $6,000. So we do have a platinum coin worth $6,000, but the starting bid is $1,000. So a bargain for any coin collector. In any event, the system itself has been user-friendly. There's no limit. There's probably at least 4 or 5 pictures for each one of these things. When you click on it, plus we've had to write the descriptions of them. And we really like the system. Like Kelly said, or I think it was actually Kathy, we will have an option to, pay with a check or cash. It has a check-in and check-out option, so we'll have 3 people with iPads helping folks check in so they can register to bid and make sure they're registered. And then the checkout, they can actually just do it on their phone if they want to do it with the credit card or step up to the table. So we'll have a busy night. We've been recruiting the volunteers from the Friends group to help us the night of the auction to distribute as many as we can. We also got some local businesses to donate cakes. So we have a carrot cake and a coconut cake and a bundt cake, and so the local businesses, the wine wall, we got a lot of businesses to donate wine for the wine wall. So, it's a pool of just about everything. But so far, I think we like ClickBid. Question?
They have to register in order to bid, so it's not an online thing where the registration is online. They have to actually come to you to register.
No, it's at the top of the thing here.
Oh, okay.
Scroll back up. Scroll up to the top and you'll see it says click to register to bid. So they can register a name, address, and a credit card, that's it. And so, right there, it's register to bid.
Okay.
So what we've done is we've got a QR code now for that particular page right there. And we're about to blitz that QR code out to the community through our membership, through the Chamber of Commerce, everything that we can do to get it out there. But we don't want to do it too early because the auction actually starts on the 17th, and we don't want people to register. We've already had some text messages. I registered and I can't bid. No, it's not open yet. So we're going to do the blitz on the 17th when it opens. So we figured that caution out pretty quickly. But you're allowed, you can set it, we get a dedicated support person the day before. They go in, there's a button on the system that says readiness. and it'll tell you, hey, you've got something that has a minimum bid below $5, or you have something that has starting increments of 50 cents, you know, is that what you meant? Is it a typo or is it the right thing? So, it'll automatically send all the letters to the donors, showing them what they donated and the fair market value of those donations, whether it sells or not. But that saves us a step at the end. So the system will send emails to folks. If you're outbid in something, it'll shoot you an email. You just got outbid. Do you want to go, you know, to the next increment? $10, $5, whatever the increment is. So it's been a good system so far. Any other questions?
How much do you expect to earn? You know, what are you hoping to earn?
Between the ticket sales and the auction items, we're expecting $25,000. And we made sure that one of our lifetime members, Steve West from West Chevrolet, was there because what we're funding is a bookmobile.